Hello, are we live? I think we're live.
I have no idea.
Can everyone who's there already, Lindsay or Rebecca, can you just give me a thumbs up if you can see us and hear us?
Hopefully it's working. Hi, everyone. Do we have life?
I don't know, and there's supposed to be a way that I can see if. Okay, we apparently have 16 people in at the moment.
Oh, yeah, I see comments. Yep. I think it's working, Cherie.
Okay, great. Excellent. Thank you. Might be a little bit of a delay. Awesome. Okay, great. Thanks for joining. It's so good to see you.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. Yeah, it was on Saturday, so it's we can forget about it now. I don't want to think about the reality of another year.
I mean, you still get to celebrate. It still counts.
Yeah. Well, we started celebrating on, I think it was Wednesday night. Matt had booked us to go to some play or something. So yeah, we've been celebrating all week. And how was your weekend? It's Sunday night for you.
Yeah, my weekend was good, quite relaxed. Well, actually, yesterday I went to a kid's birthday party, so that was not relaxed. But besides that, it was really, really relaxed. So thank you. But you're getting married soon, Cherie. That's exciting.
I am, and it's really snuck up on me. Yeah. Well, it's been a whirlwind because we got engaged in January and it decided impromptu on, we were actually just going to race. At one point, we were going to race down to the registry office and just do it, but then we realized we were going to Europe anyway in September, so we thought, well, we'll pair it with the European trip. So making it very difficult for ourselves.
Fantastic idea. And the wedding's going to be in Provence.
It is, yeah, south of France. We've hired a villa there. We're just staying there with a couple of friends for a week and just getting married in the garden there. So very low key, nothing too crazy. Although, in hindsight, I sort of feel we still legally have to get married here because it's very difficult for foreigners to get married in France. I think we are going to Italy first, and I think I read somewhere that Italy is like the easiest country in Europe to legally get married, but we chose to go from Italy to France and then pick one of the most difficult countries. So we're really just France is just the fun wedding.
I mean, it's going to be romantic. France is a good place to get married.
Yeah, look, it's going to be beautiful. I mean, backdrop of the French Alps, I really can't complain. I'm happy about it. It's going to be great. Hi, Rachel. Hi, Lizzie. Hi, John.
Hi, everyone.
Right. Yeah, I'm sorry, just catching. This is the bit that I'm really bad at. I'm terrible at sticking around for or keeping in touch with watching the comments. Anyway, so yeah, that's the story about what we're doing. It's exciting. Can't wait. I'm probably as excited, if not more excited, about the prospect of 4 weeks holiday than I am about the actual wedding.
But, you're kidding.
Yeah, the 4 weeks holiday. That'll be the longest holiday I've ever had since starting work back in my 20s. Wow. So I've never had sort of more than 2.5 weeks off. So I'm very excited. So we're really looking forward to it. It's going to be great. And so today, everyone, if you hadn't already gathered, but I'm pretty sure you have, but Sam is going to, so I hit Sam up a few weeks ago on Instagram messages and said, what do you reckon? I really was struggling with sort of making a decision. And just to make my decision, even more complicated, I started asking her about what she would recommend. And that's what we're here for today. We're going to talk through some of the recommendations that Sam made. And then I've got a few here that, a kind of my short list, although it doesn't look like a short list at the moment. And that's what we're going to talk about today, in case anyone had missed it. So thank you
I missed the title of this video. What's it called?
I think I called it Sam Recommends or something, or Wedding Perfume Recommendations. So, yeah.
Oh, okay, all right. A grandiose title. Yeah, so when Cherie sent me a message about this wedding in Provence, I was just imagining you in this beautiful white dress, and a flood of recommendations just like came to the top of my head all of a sudden, just like thinking about how beautiful you're going to be on this day, the whole Provence atmosphere and all of that. So the first perfume that came to mind is actually, I looked it up and it's discontinued now. So sad, by Serge Lutens, and it's Sidi Bella Bess.
I
Have you
actually
tried that
have a
one?
sample of it. Yeah, a friend of mine gave me a sample
Oh.
of this a couple of years ago, and I went, I'm sure I've heard of that before. I don't think I ever smelled it when she gave it to me back then, and sadly, I think she's moved the bottle on, and it wasn't to me. I didn't buy it, but I am currently wearing this on my hand today. So there you go.
And what do you think?
I actually really like it. It's kind of weird though. I can't decide.
It's unusual.
Yeah, it's sort of woody. And I wasn't sure if it's oud or not, but yeah, it's sort of woody, but then also kind of fruity at the same time. And yeah, I really like it. But it's also very fresh. So I think in your message, you said something like it makes you think of what smells like the Riviera or something like that, I think you said. But yeah.
To me, I imagine someone in a beautiful gown standing at a balcony, and it just reminds me of some like expensive breeze. That was like the initial thing that I got from it. It starts off with like beeswax and tobacco, and it is a tobacco scent, but I mean, it doesn't smell like, you don't go straight to like, this smells like tobacco. To me, it was more a feeling, and that's what a lot of the Lutens fragrances do for me. And this one, sadly, it hasn't lived very long. I mean, it was released in 2015 and it's already gone on their website. So I don't know what that's about. But they released this collection, which is basically the black bottles with gold emblems on them. And maybe the price point was too high, because these were fairly high priced compared to the rest of the Lutens. They're parfum concentrations. But Sidi Bella Bess, so it's inspired by a town in Algeria that sits on two sides of a river. And so you get that kind of, that breeze, I feel like the breeze from the river. I don't know if you feel the same, but to me, this is like one of those fragrances that really is more of an experience than it is like a note breakdown, or you can be like, this smells like these three notes. It just, it's its own thing. It really is an experience. And I think I've seen a couple of people have had this as their wedding scent as well, because it is just so like memorable and unusual. It's like, you would definitely remember the day that you've had after wearing this fragrance.
Yeah, I can see why. It's gorgeous. I'm going to be smelling great at the gym in a couple of hours, but but it is quite strong. But yeah, I love it, and it's changed already. I only spritzed it on just before we joined, and it's already changing. It's sort of getting a little bit more floral now, I guess. But yeah, I get what you mean about that breeze. It's very cooling as well, but not in a menthol way. But it's sort of just got this sort of like a dampness about it. Yeah, I really like it. I like it a lot. I wonder if she's still got the bottle. Maybe she'd be willing to sell it to me.
I mean, I'd be interested in it because it is gone. I couldn't find it. So, but yeah, remarkable. And just this house in general, I talk about it like almost every video. I'm like, Serge Lutens, Serge Lutens. Like, I just love it.
I know. Actually, I did a video on Serge Lutens fragrances, I think back in 2020, and
I remember
that's one of my most commented on videos. Everyone, people really like, or they're really intrigued by the house, and so they're always keen to. I've added a few more since then. I probably should do another one, but yeah, it's just amazing. It is an amazing house.
Yeah, definitely. Are we responding to comments or should I go on to the next?
Yeah, I just Lizzie's just posted a comment. I think everyone's sort of just saying
Oh, yeah.
hello
Hi,
and hello to
Lizzie.
each other. But
Hi,
this one,
everyone.
her,
Hi,
how do you,
John.
her de absence. I'm not sure how you'd say it, but I haven't smelled that one.
Heure d'absence. Okay. I haven't smelled. Well, I probably have, but I don't remember which one it was because they have so many. Okay. And otherwise, Lizzie would wear Delina. Yep. I mean, that one definitely has a sillage that you would like on a wedding day, I feel like.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But I still want to. It's not one that would make me feel like me though. So, so for me personally, that wasn't a pick. But yeah, I think But I can see why it's so popular, and it is would make an absolutely beautiful wedding scent.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I don't know how to hide that now. There we go. Thanks, Lizzie. Good suggestions. But yeah, let us know what Heure d'absence smells like. You know, what are the notes? Because I've never smelled it. I've never even heard of it. So I haven't been very good at keeping up with those Louis Vuitton fragrances. They're a bit, well, I think because they're well out of my price range
They're quite
anyway.
expensive.
So yeah, I just haven't really bothered smelling them, but I've smelled a few of them, but not that many. Yeah, so on to the next one. Feel free to continue. That was a win, that one.
Yeah, so jealous of yours. I don't even have a sample of that one. Anyways, so the next one is one that I've just been loving a lot lately. And so when you messaged me, I just kind of like connected you to this fragrance as well as something that I thought that you might enjoy too. Our tastes do overlap sometimes or a lot of the time. And so this one is Lys Méditerranée.
Mm-hmm.
And it's Edouard Fléché for Frédéric Malle. And this is a lily, like hyper realistic, beautiful, white waxy petals, like just sticking your nose into this beautiful lily at first. It's slightly watery, slightly gives you, like, if you know things like En Passant by Frédéric Malle and just how hyper realistic that fragrance is, like you literally feel like you're walking past this bush of lilacs. This is like the same thing, but with lily. And I find that lily is an underrated flower. Like we're always talking about roses and tuberoses and orange blossoms and what have you, iris. But lily, like there aren't that many lily focused fragrances. And for a long time, I was looking for one. And with the Mals, you really do have to give them like ages to really get to know them and understand them. This is not one of those brands that you stop by the department store and you just like smell the blotter and you're like, you know, I'm captivated right away. It really is the kind of brand that you have to go back to. Like for me, 10 times. I went back to this brand 10 times before I could pinpoint certain Mals that I actually would buy. So yeah, Lys Méditerranée, like it's also sweet. You got some tuberose and lang and other florals kind of sweetening this up. But I just love that it really is that pure lily. And some people have kind of, you know, melancholy associations with lily because you have them in churches and at funerals. But for me, it's a celebration of a flower. So I'd like to make lilies positive and happy.
Well, I love them. I used to always have the, you know, what they call the death lilies, I guess, because they're used at funerals a lot.
No, let's not call them death lilies.
But I used to just buy them for the house because I just think they're so beautiful. So very true. I love lily, and I do have a travel size of that. I forgot to grab it, but it's downstairs. So I did. Yeah. I really, really like it. I wore it a bit in summer last summer. So in the sort of warmer weather, which would be perfect because will be September. So it'll be sort of coming out of summer in Europe. So it would work really well.
Yeah, it's just like, the way they've measured and weighed, how they set up this fragrance, like Edouard Fléché, I guess, it's just remarkable. Like you also get you just feel like the waxiness of the lily. You get like a little bit of mentholation in there. Like the more you wear this fragrance, the more you get to know it. It's not one of those that you just get tired of easily, because it just like keeps unraveling and unfolding itself, which is the case with a lot of the Maz, as you know. So
yeah, and I think I think I blind bought the travel size because I liked the sound of it, and then I think when I first got it, probably about a year or so ago, or a couple of years ago, it sort of sat there for ages because I sort of went, oh, it's not what I was expecting, or I don't know what I was expecting, but it took me a little while to come around to it and, you know, really sort of enjoy it, I guess. But that I'm like that with a lot of the Frederic Males. I kind of like them. I'm on the fence when I first get them, and then I really need to wear them more and more. So Jardin de Bagatelle, is that how you say it? I've really got to learn my French.
That's lovely. That would be a lovely choice for a wedding. Yeah.
I don't think I've smelled that one. And in Australia at the moment, we hardly have any Guerlain here at the moment. It's really...
Oh, no.
Yeah, we've kind of been ignored, I think, by Guerlain, and they've been struggling to get stock. So everyone here is panicking that even things like Samsara and things like that, they're going, are they discontinued because we can't find them anywhere? I'm going, no, they're not discontinued, but we're just not getting the stock in. So I think I'd struggle to even find that, but I could probably find it in France when we get there before the wedding if I wanted to try it. So what does that smell like if you've smelled it?
Price point as well. So that's another bouquet. It's also tuberose dominant. Believe there's some jasmine in there as well, but it's a white floral bouquet, really nice, also slightly green, because it is that evocation of a garden that you're walking into. Yeah, that would be a nice choice if you're into florals, like really realistic, not really indolic yet, but like realistic, refreshing, digging your nose into florals.
Well, it sounds like it's right up my alley, so
yeah,
I'll definitely have to try it. Yeah, and I did consider Carnal Flower Mirror. It was on the list early on. I think, yeah, I still have a decant of it. I think I decided against it because a few years ago I was playing around with my perfumes at my desk, and whilst I was on a video call, like a meeting, I accidentally dumped the whole 10 ml in my lap, and then I couldn't go anywhere because I was in a meeting. So I just I was overpowered by Carnal Flower, and those clothes smelled like Carnal Flower for literally months. I washed them and washed them and washed them. So I was a little bit scarred by that experience, but probably a little bit on the green side, even though there is a green fragrance that I'm considering. So, but yeah, I did think about Carnal Flower. Carnal Flower is beautiful.
Carnal Flower is gorgeous. Gorgeous. And I love that it's actual like flower stems. Like you really feel the greenness incorporated into it, the freshness. I feel like you have all of the flowers that have just been cut and then put into a vase full of cold water. And it would be great on a warm day as well. And as you know, it lasts and lasts.
That's true. That's very true. So, but it does soften a lot. So when I was thinking about, at one point I was sort of tossing up between Carnal Flower and Honor 43 by Amouage. And in fact, one of the reasons why I sort of went away from Honor 43 is because I've been, over the colder months, I haven't really enjoyed it as much as I like it in the warmer months. I wear that in the height of summer here in Australia, and I think it just blooms beautifully on the skin. And it's the same with Carnal Flower, but I keep forgetting that actually it's going to be quite warm, in France, in the south of France in September. So it probably actually would work. But the reason I'd sort of moved away from those two was because they don't wear the way that I like them. I prefer them in the hotter months. So
yes.
maybe I should reconsider those, because I keep forgetting that it's actually going to be the civil ceremonies here in Australia in early September, so it's going to be cold still, cool,
right?
Cold by my standards, but cool by everybody else's. And so I've picked a sort of a fragrance that would go with that weather, but I keep forgetting that in Europe it'll be warm still.
So
anyway,
are you planning on wearing the same fragrance for both ceremonies? Okay, so a different fragrance for each ceremony.
Yeah, but I've sort of picked, I think I've picked the one for Perth, the Perth ceremony. So, I think I'm going to wear Lady Whitesnake by Stefan Humbert Luca. And that's partly because Matt really likes that one too. Every time I put that on, I was sampling it a few months ago, and I wasn't even planning to get a full bottle of it. I loved it, but I just sort of thought it's so fancy. It's such a fancy fragrance that I thought I'm never going to have enough opportunities to wear it. And then he just kept, going on and on about it every time I wore the sample. So I thought, oh, maybe this is the one. And it is a white bottle, so that's also
good. It's a white bottle, and the name as well, Lady Whitesnake. I mean,
but that's sort of a leathery, fruity floral with a bit of oud in it as well. So it's kind of it's not that much of it. It's not that heavy of a fragrance really, but it smells very sort of formal and nighttime-ish, and I just think it'll work better in the colder weather. So I think that's what I've decided on for Perth, for the civil ceremony. So yeah, I'm looking, but I definitely want something that for France, I want something that sort of fits the aesthetic of, a French villa in the countryside.
Yes.
So I have been ignoring the comments a little bit here, so I'm just going to catch up a little bit. Lotus Rising, April Aromatics. I've never tried anything from April Aromatics.
Me neither, not yet.
What a great suggestion, though. Watery Lotus. Yep, that sounds good. Oh, I bought one of those Theodorus Calatini fragrances recently, and one of them was called Lily, but it was a really interesting fragrance. I haven't really looked into it. They were on sale for about $40, so I bought a couple of them because everyone has been talking about them, and I couldn't get samples, unfortunately. So I decided, okay, I'm just going to buy the bottles for $40. It's not, it'll be worth it. And the Lily one is very interesting. It's very sort of scratchy. It's got like a scratchy,
like peppery.
You know what it kind of makes me think of? It makes me think of etching glass, like, I don't know if there's that's the sort of the imagery I get when I smell it. It's that kind of scratchy, but yeah, maybe it's a pepper that's doing it. But it's a really interesting, sort of a spiky kind of fragrance. It was very odd, and it wasn't what I was expecting with the title called Lily, but yeah, I wasn't sure if you'd smelled it or not, and if you had any thoughts on, because
no, I haven't smelled anything from that brand. I mean, I've stopped like following the latest, newest, whatever's coming up.
Yeah, I know. I've got to stop.
I gave up.
It's too hard. Yeah, it's too hard.
I have too many anyway. I mean,
Raul associates rose with funerals. There you go. So not lilies.
Oh, really? Rose with funerals. Oh, that's depressing. I wear a lot of rose.
Joyous tuberose. I love that one. Yeah, I've only got a sample of that, but that's
lovely
beautiful too, as well. Yeah, very nice, Lizzie. Yeah, I know. That's hence my. I still love it though. I still love it. It's just, I couldn't smell. I really went off tuberose for a while after that, though. I'm not going to lie.
I think your ring is like your
Oh, is
big
it?
your big diamond is like
It's not. Oh no,
not
it's a
melting.
sapphire. It's an Australian sapphire. But yeah, it's. I keep because I do this a lot, and I can't do it anymore because I jab myself in the face. Not used to it. What else have we got here? We can move on to the next one if you like, Sam, and I'll just keep working through the comments here.
Yeah, I mean, I can just blabber on and then you just interrupt me.
Okay, go
when
for
you
it.
need to, okay?
Yeah.
So the next one, I think most of your viewers are quite familiar with at this point because you love it too. And it's Ormond Jane, another brand that you also love. And it is Taif.
Yeah.
Twinsies.
I bought the little 30 ml because Ormond Jane is now shipping internationally, and in Australia you can order direct from them, and they had a sale on recently, and the 30 ml bottles ship for free. No, you don't pay shipping costs. So
wow, for 30 ml, that's pretty good. So Taif is a type of rose that grows in the Middle East. And it's not going to be your depressing rose, Raul. Was it Raul who said that about the Funeral Association?
Yeah.
If that's what you think, then try a Taif rose because this is uplifting, uplifting, uplifting. It will never drag you down or make you feel sad. It's quite prickly. A lot of the Ormond Janes, it starts off with some pink pepper, I think. Or a lot of the Ormond Janes have this similar like sizzling, effervescent sparkliness to them. I don't know if you agree with this, Cherie, but I find that many of them have that. And so they're elegant, they're uplifting. They're a little bit like, I would say if you like the classic Chanel women fragrances, then you would like the Ormond Jane women fragrances as well. Because they just seem to be like in a parallel. I'm not sure if Linda, the founder, used to wear a lot of Chanel, but they seem to be like in parallel. They're like the niche or like more exclusive version of those like sparkling 90s Chanels. And so, yeah, Taif is a really good one because it lingers, but it's not cloying. And when we're talking about a wedding and you want it to be a whole day experience, you want it to take you from day to night and after parties or whatever you're going to do after the night. And this one, I think you wouldn't get tired of wearing from morning to evening to, from sunrise to sunset. And if you're a little bit bolder, you could opt for the Taif Elixir.
Oh, okay. So explain to me how they differ because I haven't smelled the Elixir.
So the Elixir is slightly pricier, I think, because it has oud in it. So it is a skanky, to begin with, oud in the beginning that blasts with that like prickly pepper and effervescent Taif rose. But then it settles down a lot. So you get closer to this of a dry down. But I would say the beginning and the middle, you feel more of that oud. And a lot of the time, so the beautiful, Middle Eastern ladies will wear a Taif rose and then add an oud to it. But this has already done that for you. Or they would use like an oud attar and a rose attar and like blend them together. But this has done all of that work so that you don't have to blend and mix or anything, and you get the best of both worlds. So you could also opt for this for daytime and then this for evening time. That could also be.
Okay. Yeah. Well, yeah, I think the normal Taif, which is the one that I have, is definitely a beautiful daytime one. And we will probably go to a restaurant or something in the evening. So maybe the other one would work well for the evening. It's interesting what you say about the Chanel-esque sort of, because I do love Chanel. I consider myself to be a bit of a Chanel girl, even though I never thought about myself that way before. But I think Chanel is how Linda got her break, actually, because she was
Oh, there you go.
she used to do candles. That's how she started. She was
Mm-hmm.
making candles, and Chanel, she knew somebody who was managing a Chanel store, and they commissioned her to create a candle for the store, for the boutique. And I think that's, perhaps that, trying to make something that would fit a Chanel boutique has, instilled in her sort of, I guess, a bit of a knowledge of that sort of DNA, perhaps. And but I agree with you. They do have a real sparkliness to them, which is what I think I like about them. The Ormond Jane
Absolutely.
fragrances.
And how do you feel about oud?
So I don't know. Like, as you were explaining, I was thinking, oh, maybe if it's sort of a skanky oud to start with, it might not be for me. But I do have a couple of fragrances where they're oud heavy, and there's a point at least in the opening where it's sort of marginal for me, but then once it dries down on my skin, it settles really nicely. So possibly, I might have to try and get a sample of the elixir. I'm sure somebody in Australia has a sample of it. I could probably get my hands on just to try it. But I do love the Taif EDP. So I mean, it's
I really find that with the like authentic oud, which is a bit more animalic, people are just off put by the beginning, but when it settles, it gets a lot gentler, and it becomes that breeze that you feel when you see, those impeccably dressed, long robed Arab women walking past, like in the air conditioning, and then this flow of something just amazing follows them in the air. And that is the authentic oud. So I think that there's something about like the first blast that just takes you a bit like, that might be a bit off-putting because you get kind of skanky vibes, but when you pass through that, or maybe spray your outfit, come back like 2 or 3 hours later, and you'll get the aftermath of that. Just so gorgeous. So
all right. Well, I might have to try the elixir then, it sounds like.
Or like drop by London on the way to the wedding and
I thought about I was thinking about that too, because there's a few fragrances. There's probably a few things I'd be able to get in London that I wouldn't be able to get anywhere else. But ironically, the friends who are coming to join us in the villa are going to be in London prior to coming to France. So maybe I could get them to bring something over. Yeah. So, John, I think Honor 43 is quite different from Honor, because for whatever reason, Honor goes like dirty pond water on my skin, but Honor 43 does not. So I find Honor 43 to be a lot more green, and I get a lot more of that jasmine and tuberose. Have you tried Honor 43, Sam?
No, I probably have, but I don't remember because I try so many things.
Yeah, that's fair enough. You think, so I Gold Man. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's lovely. I do like the gold fragrances from Amouage.
Yes.
I was considering, so on my list at the moment, this was added to my list a few weeks ago, but I was considering maybe even a Shore by Amouage, which is a jasmine, white floral with a bit of an aldehydic bent to it. So that's another one I'm considering, possibly.
And it's already in the travel case too.
And it's already in the travel case, and it looks really pretty. So somebody in one of the Facebook groups sold this one to me, but I don't think these vials come out of these travel cases. I don't think
they do. They should.
Oh, do they? Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
If you open up the bottom, they're really nice travel cases.
Oh, the bottom. Okay. All right. Yeah, maybe. Anyway, I shall attempt that later. I won't attempt it now in case I break it on air. That would be really embarrassing. Yes, the Neroli, that's a lovely one as well, but I'll probably have absolutely no chance of getting hold of that at the moment. Hello, Fritz. Fritzy's come to say hello. It's a bit too...
That's my father's name, Fritz.
Sorry?
That was my grandfather's name,
Was
Fritz.
it really? Oh, there you go.
Finnish grandfather.
Well, he's actual. So the way we named him, he didn't have a name for about the first 3 months that we had him, and then and he was in danger of just becoming Cat. But then I thought, oh no, we've got to give him a name. And he would, at the time, he would jump. We had a piano in our living room, and he would jump onto the piano a lot, and he'd always sort of just be, I don't know, touching the keys or something. It was really weird. He liked the piano. And so we decided to call him Franz Catalyst. But then it sort of just became, it was too long to say. So that's how we ended up with Fritz. But then somebody told me there was a really interesting cartoon about Fritz the cat from the 70s. And he was a dirty cat. I'm just going to say that. And so it was just like every time everyone goes, oh, is that based off it? I'm going, no, it's got nothing to do with that. It's got nothing to do with this, you know.
I think people want to see Fritz. We want to see.
Yeah, he's actually looking at himself in the mirror at the moment. He's sitting over there on the floor, staring at himself in the mirror. So he'll come back.
Fair enough.
Okay, Neroli. What else? Oh, I'm very behind. Sorry, everyone. Yeah, agree. It's a beautiful one. And actually, so this is one, the Taif was one that was already on my list when I asked Sam. So I left it off my list video that I made a few weeks ago because I wanted to leave it to talk about it with Sam. But yeah, that was already on my list. Absolutely. I did try layering it with Ormond Woman because Ormond Woman is my favorite. And I thought, but I don't really necessarily want to wear Ormond Woman on my wedding day because I wear it so much. And so I thought, I wish I had Ormond Woman, but a little bit more floral. So I threw Taif over the top, but it didn't quite work. I think I need perhaps more of a white floral to put over the top. But whilst we're on the topic of Ormond Jane, I did have a sample of Privé, which I really liked. And I'd had the sample for a long time and I had never really worn it. And anyway, I picked out this sample a few months ago and absolutely loved it. So I ended up purchasing a bottle of Privé, which I think is really lovely. And this does have a bit more of a floral aspect to it, and it's not as heavy on the cardamom. It does remind me a little bit of Ormond Woman, and I think, Lizzie, you used to have this one and you thought that you got rid of it because you bought Ormond Woman and you thought you didn't need both of them. So there is it does have a bit of a similarity to Ormond Woman, but it also has a bit more of a floral and maybe even a bit more of a fruity aspect to it as well. So this one's also very bright and sparkly, but there is one point in the wear, probably about 20 minutes in, where I don't know if it's a cumin note or something, but there's something in there that, yeah, it gets I don't want to say skanky, but there is something that sort of starts to smell a little bit challenging to me, but then it goes away, so it doesn't last. It's only a little a moment, but yeah, so that's one that I'm considering as well. Have you smelled this one, the
I don't
Privé?
remember that one.
Yeah, it's sort of one that like I said, I had the sample for years, and I knew I'd smelled it very early on when I first discovered Ormond Jane, and I just sort of didn't, I don't know what, it didn't register on my radar, and probably because Ormond Woman just blew my mind, and that was the thing that I was so focused on, and I forgot about it. And then they stopped stocking it in Australia. The perfumery that I go to stopped stocking it. They don't hold it anymore. So, but one of the online stores here in Australia was selling it, and they had it at a discount. So I went, okay, I'll pick that one up. So anyway, so that's
definitely not a no-buy year this year, huh?
Definitely not.
Making up for it.
And possibly I may, if I was on a no-buy year, I might have said, we're not getting married this year, because if I can't sample and buy new perfumes. I'm not interested. That's not true. I would have still gotten married. Dusita, yes, there is a Dusita on my list, but not that one. That one is beautiful though.
They're all beautiful, all the Dusitas. I was just in the boutique in Paris. It was just like,
oh, really?
oh, smelling all of them.
What did you think of, did you try the new Rosarine? I just got a sample of that in the mail the other day.
Rosarine, I don't remember. I probably did. I smelled all of them. I'm like that annoying person in the shops, just smelling every single thing they have. And the sales assistant is just like, will she make up her mind? And then I couldn't make up my mind because I love so many of them. So then I ended up leaving.
I was going to say, did you end up buying it? No.
Exactly. So it's like, that's like the best thing is to try less. You know, if you're trying the entire shop, it's just too overwhelming.
Yeah. Yeah. Is that what maybe inspired your more recent video of how not?
Oh, I mean, I've like been saying this for a long time, but I still try it because the thing is, I'm also trying it so that I can, like, I just add it to my registry in my head of what I, you know what I mean? So it's like the goal wasn't necessarily for me to buy that day. If the goal had been to buy, I probably would have stuck to like 2 or 3. But the goal was more just to like try them all so that I can remember them.
I do that too. Yeah. I don't always go out smelling perfume for the purpose of buying anything. I just want to smell them and sort of get to understand them a bit.
Yeah.
Okay. So what was the next one on your list, Sam?
So the next one on my list, so I wanted to talk about Grossmith because if you're going to be a posh bride in France, why not bring a British a British perfume house? Ormond Jane was one actually. But Grossmith has such a long heritage, and one of the fragrances that are just like really known from the house is Hasunohana. This was around the Japanese lotus lily, but the one that I actually wanted to, because this is like a classic from, you know, the 1940s. The one that I actually wanted, that I kind of fit to the image of you specifically, is Betrothal. And this one it smells like a white powdery makeup compact that has this classic powdery scent of rose de mai and jasmine. And it's just beautifully romantic, as if you like dropped this powder compact and the smell from it just filled the room. And I could totally imagine a naughty but nice bride like you wear something like this.
Oh, it does sound enticing. Who was it by again?
Grossmith. So
it is Grossmith, yeah.
Yeah, it's Grossmith. I feel like a lot of people would think that if you're thinking about a wedding and classic and stuff with Grossmith, you'd go with something like old school Grossmith, like this. I'm just thinking like with you and with your white hair and your white dress, I'm just imagining you as this beautiful white powder sculpture and with a powdery floral fragrance. I don't know how you feel about powdery scents, but I think that in the heat, like they will cover any smell of sweat. Like any slight smell of body odor will just be covered in this dusting of white powder, and it's just going to break through everything, and you're going to smell clean throughout the entire day and night. Whereas some of the other florals, you know, they go a bit naughty on your skin after a while. The white powder just stays clean and ethereal the whole time.
Yeah.
Let's try this.
I haven't. And Grossmith has been on my list for, houses to try since probably about 2019, I think. I think I saw a documentary on them. And I have been, really intrigued by the house for a long time, but I can't even get samples shipped to Australia, I don't think, unfortunately. So I might have to try and jag some samples maybe when I get over to Europe, but I don't know if they ship to Europe either. So, or if they stocked in Europe anywhere. So I might have to contact them.
Yeah, I mean, there are other alternatives to this. Like if you like a nice white powder, there's also the Lalique one.
Oh yeah.
What was it called? It's like it's a similar color. It's like this white pink, like this pale pink color.
Mm-hmm.
And it's called Mon Parfum Cristal, I think it's called Mon Parfum Cristal.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the tender version, and that one comes in like a really fancy like atomizer, like those old-fashioned atomizers.
Oh, okay.
And then you can get the refill bottle, which is what I got. So I got the nice refill bottle because I, couldn't afford this big. You get like this whole set with an atomizer bottle and this nice Lalique crystal glass bottle, and then you get like the refill alongside it. So I just got the refill, and that smells also quite similar to this one. But yeah, if you just love, I mean, if you like things like Tante Neige as well, I feel like this is more like with a rose. So it's a rose powder. It's not just baby powder, but it's powdery, but with like rose and jasmine, and it's not just pure, dusting of baby powder. So it takes it up a notch.
Yeah, I think because Tante de Neige does smell very much baby powderish to me.
Yes.
And but if you've got the rose or something in there, that would be nice. I can imagine what it smells like actually now that you've described that.
Yes.
So it sounds lovely. Sounds lovely. All right. Well, that would definitely be one I'd love to try, but whether or not I can do it in time for the wedding, I don't know, but that's okay. Well, one day I'll get there.
What is the wedding date, by the way? Are we allowed to know?
Yeah. 21st of September.
21st of September. Okay. You got a little bit of time.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'd never thought about Fate Woman being similar to Taif, but then I haven't focused on it that much. Of all the Amouage fragrances, that when I smell them, that's one that I really haven't paid much attention to. Have you smelled that one, Sam?
Fate Woman, I think I smelled it like years ago in an airport, but I don't remember it. Is it? It's the one with that bottle that's like, what's it called? Like translucent. That bottle. That's,
sort of the holographic. Not holographic, but it is. Fate and Portrayal are sort of similar bottles, but with a slightly different color tone, I think. And I know Pep really likes Fate Woman.
Yes.
But, okay. Ashore is great. I'm really behind here. Yeah, Lizzie, I agree. Although they just go in different directions, I think. So Ormond Woman is more spicy on me. All right. There was another one on your list that was originally on my list as well. I don't know if that's the next one you're going to talk about, but
possibly. No, I think it was another one. I think it was my last one. But the next one is so basically, if we're taking Grossmith and how impactful this was for British perfumery as a heritage British brand, then a French version of that would be Houbigant.
Ah, okay. Yeah, I haven't smelled that one either.
And so Lady Di wore Quelques Fleurs for her wedding, which is, floral bouquet, classic, put together, and that kind of image that she was trying to have in the public. So I thought we'll go with the same house, but we'll do something a little bit is naughty the word? We'll do something a little bit more human, like a little bit more a person who has blood running through their veins and does appreciate some human affection as well, but is also still put together and is also still magnificent on the outside. So we have an orange blossom fragrance, but this is with some amazing absolutes in here. It's the extrait version of Ormond Jane and Ood. So
Mm.
you have the orange blossom, and then you do have, this is like another one of those hyper realistic florals. The way this was the lily, this one is the orange blossom. And you know, you got some other fatsis in there, like added in from the rose and the jasmine and like tuberose and but then you got nutmeg and a little bit of like woodiness in the dry down, a little bit cedary as well. So it's showing like this hollow image of the orange blossom, whereas a lot of the time you get a very sweet orange blossom. So that's showing just one side of the orange blossom. This kind of takes you through the orange blossom. It's more like I say it smells like the pollen of the orange blossom. If you've ever like held a real orange blossom flower in your hand.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it's just beautiful. It's so beautiful. Like
That sounds like it's really right up. Fritz, do you mind? Right up my alley. Because I mean, I love orange blossom, but yeah, that sounds beautiful.
oh, somebody's saying Kate Middleton wore French Lime Blossom by Joe Malone. Isn't she called her Duchess? Are we allowed to say Kate Middleton anymore?
I don't know. I haven't kept
The
up
Duchess.
with the. I don't. Yeah, I'm not sure if I know what we're supposed to call them. They don't come to Australia very often, so I don't have to worry about any faux pas. Yeah, no, that sounds beautiful. I haven't tried anything from Oubigant, and I definitely will be trying them when I get to France for sure, because there's a few I think on my list. I can't recall exactly which ones, but there have been a few that I've added over the years. So now that has been added to my list as well. I have tried the Kelka. How do you say it? What was the pronunciation? Yeah, Kelka Fleur. I have tried that one, but
so out of the Oubigant, like I don't bother with the new Oubigants. Sorry if anyone from Oubigant is watching. I don't bother with any of the new ones. Like it's kind of one of those houses where the best has been released, in my opinion. So if you're going to try out the florals, then definitely the Ormond Jane and Ood, but try the extraits because there's a difference between I think the EDPs and the extraits. The iris is another one that people talk about. So that's another one I know you're into iris as well. And then so if you're going to try their florals, then try those three: Quelques Fleurs, the iris, and the orange blossom.
Yeah, definitely. I'm definitely the iris one is definitely on my list. But all right, and the extra, okay.
Yeah, the extra, yeah, definitely.
There was another comment back here. Oh yeah, Cristal. Yeah, I need to the EDP or the EDT, because I think one of the two we can't get in Australia anymore. So I actually have those on my list to check out when I actually go to France, even though I know that they're easy to get, relatively around the world. And
I mean, Cristal, what a signature. That's like,
yeah, but I've never smelled it. I feel really bad. I've never smelled it, but
you never smelled Cristal? Huh?
It's just
Cristal is quite you. I think it would be quite you.
I have the Cristal Overt I have that one, but I have a feeling that is quite different from the original.
Yes. Yeah, I have the Overt as well, but like Cristal is one of the fragrances my mom wore. So there's only one fragrance. No, there are a few. There's like Samsara and Chanel number 19 that I have that she wore in number 5. But Cristal, I feel like, is so personal. Like it's not, it's not like one of those aloof. Like number 5, I feel like a lot of people can just wear because it kind of wears you, right? But Cristal, like, meshed with your personality and yourself, it just becomes so personal that I can't take that one from her. That's one that's just hers. And also, who was it? The guy, Mr. Big from Sex and the City. That was his favorite perfume on a woman, was Cristal. He mentioned once.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't remember that. I did watch it, but I don't remember it. So that's funny. Penhaligon's I can't get in Australia anymore. They don't distribute to Australia anymore. So sadly, I've been after the what's that one? The Favourite. I wouldn't mind getting a bottle of the Favourite, but now there's a couple of bottles in Australia left, and they're ridiculously priced, so I refuse. All right. Well, Cristal is definitely on my list to try when I get to France. I'm sure I'll be able to source it in France. If I can't source it there, I can't source it anywhere. Yeah. So we did talk about this the other day. I did ask Matt if he had any thoughts about what he would like to wear, and I don't think he's really given it any thought. He literally has only just started thinking about what he's going to wear to the wedding. So he's a little bit behind on the planning for what he's wearing in terms of, clothes and fragrance. But I know, so I don't think he can hear me. He's sound asleep still, I think, anyway. But I think a few months ago, he discovered, so the whole world's going to know about this before he will, but I think he discovered a sample of Starlight by Xerjoff on my desk several months ago. And he came up to the kitchen. He was obviously snooping around in my office, and he found it. And then I think I just filmed that video that I did ages ago where I was comparing Xerjoff with that Starlight with a number of other sort of cardamom heavy fragrances. And he came up and he goes, "What is this?" And I went, "Why?" He goes, "It's amazing. It's amazing." And I said, "Oh." So then I gave him the Olfactive Studio Chypre Shot, because I think that they, at some point, are a little bit similar, and they're both heavy on the cardamom. And he's been wearing Chypre Shot nonstop. But Chypre Shot is more cooler weather fragrance. Yeah, it's more sort of a gourmand leading, but it's also much more of a cooler weather fragrance, I think. So I was contemplating maybe buying him a bottle of Starlight because it's a bit more citrusy and sparkly, and I thought that might be nicer for the wedding day. So I think if I got him a bottle of that, he would hands down, would be what he would wear, I think.
I'm happy about that, because I love gourmands on men. Like, yeah. I don't love them on me. I love them on.
Yeah, men. That's right. Because then you don't get overwhelmed by them.
I get to enjoy it, but in passing. Yeah.
Exactly. It's what I always get him to. Hang on. I always give him the ones that I find too hard to wear myself, but that I still like the smell of and I want to smell them, and I try and make him wear those. Poor guy. I don't want to smell the Favourite. What's wrong with the Favourite? I like the Favourite. It's like a beautiful pink musky fragrance. It's really nice. Yeah, well, Sam is the person to go to if you want to know about perfume and pop culture. Okay, that's more about Cristal, Starlight. Yeah, they're very fancy. I know. I didn't think I would ever buy a bottle of it, but because he never goes through he would never pick up a perfume and go, "Wow, this is amazing." But he came up and he waved it in my face and said, "What is this?" So I was like, okay, that's definitely going on the list. He really likes it. I think Starlight would be okay for a warm September, Raoul, because it is kind of sparkly and citrusy. It's the Olfactive Studio one that I'm confused. I'm thinking might not be great for a hot day.
Starlight, yes, if you spray lightly, because it's still a surge off, and
yeah.
there's still
And
made
I'd have to tell him because he does
to look you
tend to
out.
overspray things. He doesn't think about it. I remember one night he was, I really liked Toroni by Auto Parisi, and that he wears that more than I do. But I remember there was one night a few years ago, he was standing there like, and I'm going, what are you spraying? And he's like, oh, this, this Auto Parisi. And I went, stop, you gotta take this out. He sprayed it like 8 times or something. And I went, oh my God. Yeah. So afterwards he was going, I feel a little bit sick. I said, yeah, so do I. But yeah, I think Starlight will be all right. But yeah, he'd have to spray lightly. All right. So next one. Oh, Fleur d'Oranger by Serge. Yes.
Yes. Similar vein. Yes. In a similar vein. And also less pricey than the Houbigant. So that's another good alternative is the Luton's Fleur
Right.
d'Oranger.
Okay. That's good to know because I do own the Serge. So I could potentially wear that then. I have thought about it. Yeah, pretty much, John. Yes. Okay, so next one on the list.
Okay, so this is the last one on the list, and I think this is the one that you were mentioning that was already on your list. So it's by Dior. I actually don't own it, but I've sampled it many a time, and it's New Look 1947.
Yeah.
You got it. Yay.
I have it. Yeah, it's beautiful.
This fragrance reminds me of that song Uptown Girl.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, explain.
It smells like an uptown lady, like uptown, soapy clean, yet has a little pizzazz, like walks down with a little strut, starts with a little pink pepper, has that floral bouquet. I smell a lot of tuberose prominent in this one. And is floral, but it's still soapy, still like put together, and still with a little bit of character because it's actually not a typical scent, I would say, that you smell all over the place.
I agree.
So it's inspired by the New Look collection by Dior that was in 1947, and basically just bringing Dior's fashion to the women post World War II, and having the ladies dress nicely and ready to go to work. So I think it's a nice city appropriate, but would also be beautiful for a wedding because it just has all of those elements of that uptown girl that all the guys want.
Yeah, absolutely. I adore this one. I have a massive bottle of it as well. I think I have the 250 ml bottle. Somebody was selling it, and I heard a rumor that it was being discontinued, which I think is not true. It's definitely not being discontinued, but there's a powderiness to this that I really like as well. So you get that floral in the opening. You also get kind of almost a bit of fruitiness, but it's not in your face fruit. And then you get these beautiful florals. And there's something about this that it works well in the daytime, but there's something about it that is very nighttime appropriate as well, I think. And that's why
it has some pizzazz. It just has something that you can't really put your finger on. And the first time I smelled this one, it was actually on a man. So it was the male sales associate at Dior who was wearing New Look 1947. And I was like, because I always ask the sales reps what their favorite is, what they wear. And this guy was, handsome, well-dressed. And I thought, okay, he's probably going to say Bois d'Argent or something, because that's like the go-to for most. It's like a go-to, right, fragrance for most people. But he was like, New Look 1947. And I was like, oh, that's amazing, because he was this big man, and it smelled really, really incredible on him. So it reminds me of Uptown Girl, but it's just Uptown everyone. It is just Uptown, period.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I love it. I think it's definitely one of my favorites from the line. The other favorite that I have from the line is Dior More, and that's another one I'm considering as well. And again, powdery, soapy, white floral.
Yeah.
So, but this one is more, I feel like this is more daytime, and this one transitions more into the evening. So this
Yeah.
one probably would win. And there's also something about this that gives me autumn colors as well, sort of more of a golden hue than the Dior Amour, which to me is blue. It's sort of very cold. So yeah, I love New Look 1947. So that was definitely on my list as well. And also I have it in the travel size, so it'll be handy to the 40 mil. So it'll be
There you
handy
go.
to travel with. So there is that.
Now I need to go find a bottle of it as well. Sure.
It's not discontinued. So don't panic. Yeah, I thought it was. I heard a rumor ages ago that it was being discontinued, and it's not. So you don't have to rush.
Eau Noire?
No, I have not.
See, Eau Noire I thought would be my fragrance, but it came back and it's not my fragrance. It was just too much.
What's it smell like? I don't think I've ever smelled it.
It smells like curry.
Oh, okay.
And for me, I mean, I love eating curry, but it was kind of like it was just like it was the dry spices of curry, but not what I was like expecting. So I'm not sure if it's changed from the previous green version or what it is. It just did not work for me. Sadly, I was really sad about that.
That's a shame. That's a shame. Yeah, I had heard that it was quite different.
Yeah, because it's the odd one out in the collection, right? So that's usually the one that I like. In this case, it wasn't.
Now it's too odd, too far out.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess the only other two that are really sort of high up on my list, actually there's three, and I know we're running out of time, so I'll be snappy. But the only remaining three that were on my list that I'm still really on the fence about is Melody de l'Amour by Ducita, which again, another tuberose. Yeah, I wore this on my hand yesterday, and I'd sort of talked myself out of it because somebody told me it smelled like mothballs, but I don't agree. I respectfully don't agree. I can understand where they get that from in the opening, but it just wears so beautifully. The other one is Rive Gauche, which is just so beautiful and clean, maybe for the daytime, but I'd need to wear something else for
I couldn't
evening.
do that all day, all night, Rive Gauche. It's a lot.
Yeah. It'd be lovely during the day, though. And then the other one is number 19, Parfum. So
Stunning.
Which is green, even though I said earlier that I didn't want to wear a green fragrance. But I just love
those Chanel parfums are quite pricey for, like, I mean, they don't last like the 19. I don't know if it does on you.
It lasts a long time, but it doesn't project for a long time. And so you really have to get close to. So I usually put it sort of on my hairline, at least then with the heat. And if I'm turning my head, rub it in. It does. It lasts a long time, but it takes. I need to warm up for it to be able to smell it. But I bought that. I didn't buy that brand new, so. But I don't think it'll travel well because it's already open, and it's only got the stopper, so I'm a bit worried it might not. I could tape it, I guess, but I probably won't go with the number 19.
I think also on your wedding day you want to be smelled. You want to kind of project it, but
that's true.
That's personal preference.
Or Ducita Fleur de Lolita, which I really love, and I'd sort of ruled that out because I have worn it a lot this year, but. I still really love that as well. But I just feel like the Ducitas are quintessentially bridal, because they're just so elegant and floral.
Totally are. Yes.
But I wear it so much. I'm sort of on the fence about that one, so I don't know. But yeah, I think maybe New Look might be maybe Dior More and New Look or something, or Privé. Yeah, I still haven't decided. I'm no closer to deciding, but I think, yeah, or the Taif.
Back to square one.
Yeah, look, I probably won't make a decision until the day, and I probably will take. I would like to make a decision before I go, so I don't have to pack a bunch of bottles. But I think I can get it down to 4, and then I can make a decision out of the 4.
Does your fiance get a say in this, or?
Yeah. So my plan was to cull the list down, and then over the course of the next few weeks to have days where I just wear, each of the fragrances on their own, and then he can get a real sense of which ones he likes and which ones he doesn't. Because yeah, if there's one that he sort of goes, gross, don't like that, then that's an easy choice.
That cannot be it.
Exactly. What have I missed here? Sorry, guys. Have a second live to discuss which one I choose.
Discuss the rest. We continued.
Anyway, no, so that's been great, and thank you so much for the recommendations. And I will add Serge Fleur d'Oranger to the list, because the Houbigant one is one that I won't be able to get my hands on until I get to France. So I can at least have an idea. And as you say, if it's a little bit less pricey, that's always good, because wherever we can save $1 or $2 is always nice.
When you're a perfume hobbyist.
Yeah, exactly.
We save where we can.
Samples are my friends these days, for sure. It's just that I guess the only thing, I can't go with a sample for my wedding day, because I want to be able to take a photo of the bottle. That's the only thing.
For Instagram.
So yeah, well, thank you so much for your help. You have helped, because you've added a couple to my list. And your descriptions were just, yeah, I could really picture why you picked them, and they would definitely fit the day. So I really appreciate your input.
Thank you. Well, thanks for inviting me on here, and everybody else as well for chipping in. I feel like there was some good. You need to screenshot I don't know. This is my first YouTube live, so I don't even know how it works.
It is your first YouTube live. Sorry, I forgot to announce that.
There were some good suggestions in there. So thank you, everybody.
It very much a special thank you then, because it was your first one, and it wasn't. Although you've done live streams on Instagram.
So on Instagram, yeah. But this is scarier. This is there.
It's there forever. Yeah, it will actually go up on the channel, but and I think the comments, you'll be able to see the comments as well, I think, after the fact. So but thank you so much, Sam. It was just so lovely to chat to you, and
good luck. I'm sure we'll talk more about it.
Oh, we will, don't worry. I'll let you know what I pick ultimately. Thanks. Have a lovely evening, and thank you everyone for joining.
Thank you, everyone.
We'll see you soon.
Thanks, Cherie.
Bye.